The Ancients Were Mighty, Chapter 1, Paragraph 2. Geoarchaeology, a global civilization, the straight cut surfaces. The precision work done on the stone in Peru is not only visible in the walls but also in the surrounding environment. Here, flat surfaces are cut straight into the bedrock. These surfaces take many shapes. In some occasions, these shapes come in the form of a fake doorway. This is visible not only in Peru but in Bolivia as well. In Bolivia we can also find the remnants of precision walls. The most well-known example of this is at Pumapunku. We shall look at Pumapunku later in chapter 2, which will be about engineering and logistics. The flat surfaces are cut horizontally and vertically. They are cut above and below where the people would have worked. They are cut in simple and complicated shapes. One would think that these surfaces are cut only into softer rocks, but this is not the case. These surfaces have been cut into many types of rock. We see these surfaces in limestone, sandstone, andesite, granite and even diorite. Here we see some sort of niche cut beautifully into the surface of a rock in Peru. It is remarkable that the same thing can be seen in Japan. Here we see the same type of niche cut into the bedrock. In Japan we find the same type of flat surfaces we see in Peru and Bolivia. Here also different types of rocks seem to have been cut with ease. Another beautiful piece is this monument in Japan, a monolith that seems to float on the water. It is clear now that in Peru, Bolivia and Japan we can find the same type of flat surfaces cut into the rock. Is this the only similarity between the ancient structures of these places? Let's look at some megalithic precision walls in Japan. Here we see again multi-ton blocks that fit together almost perfectly. These walls are to be found at the Emperor's Palace in Japan. Let's compare the walls to some other walls we've looked at before. Here we have comparisons to Machu Picchu in Peru and the Valley Temple in Egypt. In these three locations we see giant megalithic blocks stacked together in a similar fashion. The blocks have the same size and the angles are similar too. In this comparison we see the palace walls in Japan and a wall of Sacsayhuaman in Peru. In these two walls the blocks are stacked together in the same type of pattern. You cannot miss it. There are other places in the world that have obvious similarities too. Easter Island is such a place. On this isolated island we can see the same type of megalithic walls as we have seen before. Here too the blocks are stacked in a similar fashion. Of course Egypt has the same kind of flat surfaces that are to be found in Peru, Japan and Bolivia. This example here is from the quarry at Aswan. The flat surface has been cut into the granite bedrock. And now for the conclusion. We have now seen clear, undeniable similarities between the ancient megalithic structures of Peru, Egypt, Japan and even Easter Island. We can now truly talk about the remnants of an ancient, globally active civilization that was forgotten or intentionally ignored by conventional historians and archaeologists. How this spatial dispersion pattern of incredible megalithic stonework came to be, and so how the structures were built, is still a mystery. There are still other fragments of this ancient civilization to be found in other places around the globe. These other places might paint the bigger picture about the origins of this stone cutting technology. In the next video we shall look at the Middle East, India and the incredible temple of Baalbek. Historians and archaeologists have their theories cut out for these places and the places we've visited up to now. In chapter 2 we shall have to look at the engineering and logistics and see what ground these theories hold against the previously shown geoarchaeological evidence. This will also further clarify things. I hope you will enjoy.